¿Qué tal, comunidad? Aquí habla su abogados y defensores y felices personas en el mundo. Estamos con el abogado del pueblo, Josh Nunez, Marcelino Quinonez. And what do we say? Go Biden!
Go Biden! What a historic day for all of us.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. How do you feel, Marcelino? Kick us off, brother.
You know, brother, I feel full of joy, jubilation, relief, and excited to get to work.
That's awesome. Josh, abogado del pueblo, how you feeling over there, man?
Man, I am feeling hopeful. I am feeling optimistic for the future of this country, the future of our communities. So all in all, I feel like we gotta celebrate, man. We have to celebrate. We gotta speak out. We gotta express what we're saying. So this is a good outlet. Thanks for making it happen.
Of course, brother. Of course. Thanks for jumping on, gentlemen. For you that are watching, si está escuchando y esperando español o inglés, usted ponga sus comentarios abajo. ¿Cómo sientes? ¿Cómo sientes que recibimos las noticias hoy que ganó el presidente número 46 del país, Joe Biden? Muy, muy buenas noticias. ¿Cómo sienten ustedes? Y también, como dijo el abogado, ¿qué esperas? Y qué logros ustedes quieren ver? So let us know below in the comments, por favor. And Josh, man, you've been making the predictions all week long. Did you call it right? Did you call it right? Let's hear it.
All right, so listen, I called Florida. I called Wisconsin, Minnesota, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada for Biden. Was I wrong about Florida? Yes. Was I wrong about the rest of them? No. So, indicated. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been partying since Tuesday. My heart has been partying since Tuesday. So welcome to the party, everybody. Catch up.
Yeah, I have not been. I've been terrified. No. I've just been like watching the news. I think even till last night at like midnight. And it comes to a point, you know, where you're just watching and watching. You're like, they're saying the same thing they said last hour, that they said 4 hours ago, that they said last night. Hey, but I still can't stop watching.
Ray.
Yeah.
So one of the comments is that there's a lot of echo. And I guess my question for you, Selene, la pregunta es, ¿el eco lo escucha cuando hablo yo o cuando habla Ray o Marcelino? Because they're saying that they're hearing a lot of echo.
Mucho echo. So sorry. Díganos quién tiene mucho echo. And maybe we should try this. If all of us who aren't speaking hit the mute button, maybe that'll help out a little bit too. So I'll try mine here. Let me see if I can go the mutation here, see if that helps out. Hopefully that's it, but let us know who is the echoes. And Maria Castro has a question as we get that echoey in control here. What happened with Alistair and Julie? Have you been following that? Josh, you know what's going on, Alistair and Julie?
I'm on mute. Unfortunately, right now, Alistair seems to be on a way to victory. I don't think it's been called yet, but Julie Gano doesn't seem like she's going to pull it off. So we're waiting to see. But last time I checked, Alistair was on a good path to victory.
So that is.
I saw the same thing. She's up by 20,000 or so.
And we don't have that many more votes left in Arizona, right? Who knows how many more we got left? So it doesn't look good down the ballot. We have Adrian Fontes, I think, still holding on, right? The last that I checked.
No, unfortunately, and Josh and I were discussing this earlier. Right now, Adrian is a couple of thousand behind, and that race really hurts because since Adrian has been elected, he happens to have a D in front of his name, but he has conducted himself as nonpartisan as can be, working with the County Board of Supervisors to make democracy more accessible to our community. And the fact that he is a few thousand votes short right now really hurts.
You know, there was was it 2016, Marcelino? There was a huge debacle at the Maricopa County Recorder's Office They couldn't. They made some big mistakes when it came to counting the votes, and so Fuentes came in and cleaned up. And not only did he repair the damage that was done in terms of the trustworthiness in the electoral process, but he also made the vote more accessible. I mean, I think now you're able to vote in many different ways, and there haven't been any irregularities reported. Sure, there's conspiracies out there, but in terms of a verified irregularity, there hasn't been one. Which brings a topic to mind, Sharpie Gate. I don't know if you guys followed that, but Sharpie Gate was something that started trending like a wildfire, and people started saying, well, because I used a Sharpie, I'm concerned that the ink bled through and it voted for somebody else, and that's how Biden won. And so I thought it was very important that the recorder and the county supervisors spoke up. The Attorney General for the state of Arizona asked questions about this, and eventually, when his questions were answered, he said, okay, I am now satisfied that there are no irregularities here, and that the Sharpies are not a problem, that they did not cause Biden or Trump to lose the election and Biden to win.
Josh, if I could just piggyback off of that. So yes, it was 2016 when there was a debacle, not only in the votes that were counted, but many of our community members can attest to the long lines that they had to endure in order to submit their vote. That was the issue. And if we look at what Adrian has done as a county recorder for Maricopa over the last 4 years, now we get text messages letting us know that our ballots are on their way. You get a text message to know when your ballot has been submitted. And then additionally, how many different polling places are out there where you can go and physically submit your ballot, get your sticker, and know that your vote has been counted. And to Adrian's credit, he took a lot of grief when it was decided that it was going to be in collaboration with the County Board of Supervisors. But we need leaders to be cooperative. We need leaders to partner. And Adrian has done that. And then the only thing I'll say about the Sharpie Gate is, mi mamá tiene un dicho que dice, esas son patas de ahogado. Those are kicks that you throw when you're about to drown. And that Sharpie Gate came the day after, when the votes were indicative of one way. And at that point, it was like, what can we find? What do we talk about? I thought it was really irresponsible of Attorney General Branovich to write that letter and add to the fuel of conspiracy. And then the next day, he receives a letter, which was, for all intents and purposes, unneeded, because we all knew that. And then he goes back. I think it's really irresponsible of our elected officials to add fuel to conspiracies and to create division. And so I hope Adrian pulls it off. He's one that I'm really, really rooting for after the joy of watching Vice President Biden getting elected the next president, and Senator Harris, our next VP.
So we got some awesome comments here. Some of the good ones actually say, sounds better. All right. And that is so much better. So what we did is working. And let's hear over here. We have Isaí Valenzuela says, me siento feliz de que haya ganado el presidente y ojalá él nos separa niños como hizo conmigo Trump, y también nos deja la oportunidad de estar aquí con mis hijos, aunque no lo creen, ya tengo mucho miedo como sentía con Trump. So, Isaí, muchas gracias por sus palabras. Ya sé que usted ha sufrido mucho. Y cuando estamos hablando de qué hizo este presidente, es un ejemplo muy grande aquí, Isaí y su familia, que vino buscando mejor vida, saliendo de algo difícil en su país de origen. El Trump lo quitó su hijo. Estaba encarcelado afuera de su hijo. Ya, gracias a Dios, están juntos de nuevo, pero no tenemos que vivir por 4 años más pensando que el presidente va a hacer algo así otra vez. Y ya pedimos justicia. Eso para mí es cuando vimos que Biden ganó, yo pensar de mis clientes que hemos batallado por los últimos 4 años, sufriendo muchos golpes, muchos dolores, y ya es tiempo de decir, ninguna vez más vamos a dejar un racista como ser presidente, y vamos a seguir adelante peleando también en contra de Biden. Para mí, un gran orgullo de ser un abogado y pelear junto con la comunidad, igual que ustedes que han batallado mucho los últimos 4 años, muchos esfuerzos que han puesto en las organizaciones que hemos visto anunciado alrededor del país y el mundo como lucha, como poder. Ustedes han apoyado todo lo que ustedes han hecho por la comunidad en los últimos 4 años. Muchísimas gracias. Dime, ¿por qué otras razones están felices que ganó Biden y ya no está ahí Trump?
Ray, Josh asked me an awesome question earlier that I'd love to get your feedback on, and then have Josh share his answer with all of us too. He asked, when did you know that this administration, that this candidate was inappropriate for our country? When did it first hit you that we were in for trouble with the current administration?
You know, when he was running for office, I kind of just chalked it up as he's just saying a bunch of BS to get elected. He's really a businessman. He probably somewhere down there has a good heart, probably racist, but he'll do good stuff for immigration, right? That was kind of my hope when he was elected. And then you saw him come to office, and the moment of clarity that I remember, Marcelino and Josh, is walking into the ICE office here at 2035 North Central with my client, Guadalupe, and not coming out with her, right? And then she got labeled as Trump's first deportation, and we had done these check-ins under ICE, under Obama administration, very regularly during his term, and we saw her deported. I had to come out of that office. I had to tell her 2 kids and her husband that she probably wasn't coming out and she was going to be deported. And it was at that point that I knew we're in for a long 4 years, man.
You know, Ray, I remember that. I remember that experience. I remember being there because there, you know, and so I remember when that happened. A lot of the communities rallied. Also, a lot of the community rallied around trying to use their voice to keep the deportation of Guadalupe. And I remember speaking to you, and what I remember feeling was a sense of, how could I say, despair. Not of giving up or not of, folding, right? But despair in the sense of, okay, here's the most powerful person in the country. He's going to be hateful. And it got worse from there. It got worse from there. But it was a recognition. To me, that moment was a recognition that it was going to be a long 4 years. They have been a long 4 years. I think the whole separation of kids at the border will be infamous for this country. I think it should be infamous for the 47% of Americans who, regardless of that policy, still voted for Trump. Some people have commented, hey, let's be graceful about our victory and let's not rub it in the face of those folks who supported Trump. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. But we should hold those folks to account who are okay with a policy that derives from hate, a policy that says we're gonna make you suffer so much, we're gonna take your kids away so that you won't want to come here, and that's how much you're gonna suffer, and that's gonna be our policy. And if you, as a Trump supporter, are okay with that, well, just you should own it, and you should be infamous for that as well.
Yeah. For me, living through the Obama administration, one of the things that would often break my heart is, regardless of what he tried to do, he was faced with criticism and obstruction. And so in trying to be a better version of myself and in trying to be a better American, I remember saying to myself shortly after November 16, we have to support this man. He's the president. We have to give him a shot, because I didn't want to be guilty of what had transpired for the last 8 years. And then the inauguration happens, and then after is Saturday, and his press secretary comes out on a Saturday night and adamantly says that this administration has the largest inauguration in the history of inaugurations. And we all see the images, and we all hear the lies, And at that moment, I realized I can't do this. I cannot ignore what I see. I cannot ignore what I hear. I was reminded of George Orwell's 1984, which is the final command is to no longer listen or believe what you see. And at that moment, I just grew really, really afraid for what was ahead, because we were going to be led down this path of lies, of abuse, and we were going to be told that we were wrong, that what we were seeing and hearing was not the reality. So that gave me a lot of reason for concern. One day into the administration.
Yeah, he kicked it all off with the lie, right? That's been a staple, consistent throughout his entire administration, is the lies, and no bigger lie than the whole COVID management. You know, he knew how deadly it was very early on, and he lied to the American people, saying that you know we were turning the corner and whatnot. And to this day, I think the past 4 days have seen more than 100,000 new infections per day, over 240,000 dead people because of COVID. I think lies have been a staple of his administration. So, you know, there's a lot to look forward to. You know, Ray, one of the questions I have for you, and for you too, Marcelino, is what policy priority would you like to see the Biden administration take on?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. Let me get one of these comments up here so I can give you the answer. Maria Rodriguez says, con Biden hay esperanza por un ajuste de estatus para todos. I don't know, Maria, if that was a question or a statement. I'm taking it as a statement, because that's it. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're expecting. And we're not looking for any compromises, right? We're looking 100%, not just taking care of dreamers, not just taking care of their parents, but taking care of every single person that's in here. We see that the nation who voted, or those that voted, was what, 47% for Trump. If you include the nation, the people that actually live here, the people that are involved in politics, I know you two know a lot of people who don't have the right to vote, yet they did 50 times more work than the three of us combined did in the past 4 years to get this idiot not reelected. Those individuals deserve the right to vote. They deserve the right to have this country recognize that they belong here, and that's what we're looking for, big picture in 4 years. Also looking to undo all the wrongs, right? We have Maria remembering Lupita. Maria was out there that night. A lot of my wife got arrested that night, right? Throwing her hearts out there, trying to stop the bus. And, you know, Aaron says the community did its part to help Biden win. Now it's time to pay dividends. And that's exactly, Josh, what we're looking for.
Ray, I echo that. I'm an immigrant. Soy un mexicano, soy un inmigrante. Tengo familia, amigos que son inmigrantes. Entonces, cuando empezamos a pensar de la administración de Biden, lo que dice Aaron es la verdad. Es hora de que una reforma migratoria comprensiva salga al Senado y que Biden use todo el poder capital que tenga para hacer que esto suceda. Ray, to your great point, when we look really at the election and specifically here in Arizona, we think of poder, we think of lucha, we think of countless individuals that knocked on doors. I think of Aliento, who galvanized young people who don't have a right to vote either because of their age or because of their immigration status, and they knocked on doors and they made phone calls. And so when we look really at the electorate and how it happened, it was a lot of people who were advocating and fighting for themselves in order to be able to come out of the shadows. And so it's time for comprehensive immigration reform to come to the forefront. And like you said, not just dreamers, not just their parents, but everyone. Estimates indicate that there are 11 million people who happen to be undocumented. We got to live up to our ideals. We got to live up to this reality and these words that we hold sacred, that the pursuit of happiness and life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that should be extended to as many people as possible.
Got some love coming in here for awesome billboards, Josh. Can you tell us a little bit more about that campaign, brother, and how that came about, what that was about for those that didn't know that you were responsible for those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we reached over, I think at this point is over 6 million people with our billboards, 6 million impressions. So one of my niece, I'm gonna do it in Spanish para todos los que escuchan en español. Una de mis sobrinas me dijo, me preguntó, ¿por qué no usas tu plataforma, tío, para dar mensajes sobre cosas que son importantes? Por ejemplo, DACA. Y también el COVID, que no es una mentira que el COVID es real y hay consecuencias. Entonces le dije, ok, ¿cuál es tu idea? Y la idea de ella fue de hablar con la organización Poder, Poder AZ, y crearon ellos juntos unos 2 diseños para poner mensajes por todo Phoenix que COVID es real y ha causado muchas muertes y debemos de votar con eso en mente. Y también el otro mensaje, el otro diseño fue defender DACA, que cuando votemos recordemos que este presidente año tras año tras año ha atacado a nuestros jóvenes que son recipientes de DACA. Entonces, esa fue la inspiración y de ahí es donde vinieron esos billboards y lo hicimos con mucho orgullo.
That's awesome, brother. I know a lot of people saw them and were moved and motivated, so thank you for using your platform and putting your money where your mouth is, as they say, right? That's just amazing work, brother. Juliana Monseñada says hi. She's getting the award tonight, guys, 2020 Community Service Award from Los Abogados to Abogado Juliana for all her work the past 4 years. It's funny talking with Juliana, guys, because she only knows practicing immigration under Trump. She's like, what's it going to be like when that thing you told me about called administrative closure comes back? What's it going to be like when we can get our asylum regulations back, when we don't have to do public charge? So she's lived through the absolute fire, the worst our immigration system has been, and now we're looking forward to the next 4 years, and congratulations, Abogado Juliana, on that award. Maria says, here's Maria's wish list: cancel rent, stimulus package, support for unemployment, executive actions for undocumented people, and so much more. That's a nice little starting list. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, listen, I think that, you know what I like about that list? Is that list does not require congressional action. Biden, with the stroke of a pen, can effectuate a lot of those priorities if he has the right people around him, if he surrounds himself. You know, Trump used the power of his pen through executive action to wreak havoc on our communities. And Biden can do the same to bring relief from this economic disaster that we're experiencing. So I like where your mind is, and I think, yeah, very doable.
Yeah, and Josh, and Ray, and we better not hear anything about the deficit and how in debt we are as a country, because Maria said is right up there.
Awesome, brother. Y si están pidiendo algunos que nos hablamos en español un poco más, claro que sí, Oscar, como en mi casa, digamos, ok, ya es tiempo de practicar en español, ¿verdad? So yo y mi esposa español, y 2 minutos después estamos hablando inglés otra vez. So enfocamos siempre en estar bilingües para nuestra comunidad. Muchísimas gracias, Oscar, para decir eso. Y básicamente estamos muy felices de que ganó el presidente Biden y el Trump no va a ser presidente aquí localmente en Arizona. Hemos visto que tenemos una nueva senador también que es demócrata, Mark Kelly, y estamos muy felices sobre eso. Ya tenemos Martha McSally, que ya nunca ha ganado, pero ha estado en el Senado, y eso es algo muy bueno también. ¿Qué más cosas ustedes están viendo o han visto en estas elecciones que ustedes piensan es importante que la comunidad sabe?
Mira, Ray y Josh, para regresar un poco al punto, yo de lo que estoy más emocionado, obviamente la victoria del vicepresidente Biden y de la senadora Harris causa mucha alegría, pero yo estoy más contento porque vamos a poder dejar las mentiras. Estas mentiras han causado la muerte de más de 230,000 personas a través de una enfermedad que desde un principio, desde febrero, sabíamos que era grave, y el hecho de que hemos tenido una guerra de cultura, de que si te pones cubrebocas o no, es algo que realmente ha dañado a muchas personas, a muchas personas. Entonces, yo estoy muy emocionado porque finalmente podemos regresar a lo que es ser decente, a lo que es ser realmente pensar en otras personas y a lo que es vivir a los ideales de esta Constitución de Estados Unidos.
Y también nos está preguntando Ana, ¿qué tan rápido puede tener una amnistía o reforma migratoria? ¿Qué son sus opiniones sobre eso?
Bueno, en mi opinión, estamos siguiendo lo que está pasando en Georgia. En Georgia, estamos esperando que se determine si los demócratas van a tomar el Senado. Si los senadores demócratas ganan, entonces va a haber 50 senadores demócratas y 50 republicanos. Y a ese punto, efectuar una reforma migratoria va a ser posible. En cambio, si nomás tenemos 49 senadores demócratas y 51 o 52 senadores republicanos, entonces va a ser mucho más difícil. Pero realmente, aún si hay más senadores republicanos, al fin del día, el presidente tiene mucho poder, tiene mucho poder. Durante los años de Obama, él logró que 4 senadores republicanos en el 2012 voten a favor de la reforma migratoria. ¿Por qué? Porque él puso toda su fuerza presidencial para lograr eso. No más que en la Casa de Representantes no se pasó la reforma migratoria, pero en el Senado sí se pasó. Ahora lo que vemos es que la Casa de Representantes está llena de demócratas y la pregunta va a ser en la Cámara del Senado si el presidente Biden va a querer poner toda la fuerza de su presidencia para lograr reforma migratoria. Eso va a requerir mucha presión, en mi opinión, de todos los grupos que ayudaron a que salga elegido como presidente. Tenemos que poner toda la presión posible para lograr una reforma migratoria.
Josh y Ray, estoy completamente de acuerdo. Pienso que durante el próximo mes y medio todo el país se va a enfocar en Georgia. Entonces, así como hemos estado muy activos en las redes sociales apoyando a vicepresidente Biden y a la senadora Harris, vamos a tener que mandar energía, recursos también allá a Georgia para que el Senado esté a favor de los demócratas, y de esa manera ya no hay ninguna excusa. Porque, Ray, regresando a la primera pregunta, estamos celebrando la victoria de Biden, pero también es importante que nosotros tengamos a Biden, a que sea responsable, a que realmente represente a las necesidades de toda la comunidad. Entonces, ya después de que el Senado esté a favor de los demócratas, ya tenemos que seguir con la presión para que la reforma migratoria pase.
Completamente de acuerdo, gentlemen, and I'm reminded we had a comment earlier from Lisa. Lisa Russ is an amazing attorney in Mississippi, been fighting the battle for years there. She says, thanks for our work in Arizona, Mississippi. And we have to think cross borders now, right? And the first thing I was thinking of cuando escuchamos que ganó Biden es todos que han sufrido los últimos 4 años. Lupita, a ver si hay manera que podamos traer ella para atrás bajo Biden, los que en Mississippi que fueron arrestados en las redadas y separados sus familias, y podamos regresar ellos también, y la misma vez el reforma migratoria. Lo que ustedes están diciendo en Georgia, pues y a lo mejor ya es tiempo a mandar recursos ahí, ir ahí, tocar puertas ahí. Hay mucha comunidad que está creciendo en Georgia, y ponerle junto con mi gente y con los otros grupos que están ya trabajando en las calles ahí en Georgia, para que podamos realmente salir con una reforma migratoria. Porque como dijo Josh y Marcelino, si no para un cambio migratorio para todos, no es nada más una orden ejecutiva. Tenemos que tener el Congreso, el Senado y el presidente de la misma página. Si no tenemos el 50-50 del Senado, es posible que vimos una extensión de DACA, a lo mejor DAPA, pero posiblemente no la reforma, porque no tenemos control de todo. Tan importante Georgia, y esperamos que salga todos bien ahí en Georgia.
Ray,
Yeah, go for it, brother.
Si pudiera dar un poquito de contexto de una manera histórica, dos cosas. Primero, en el 1986, cuando el republicano presidente Ronald Reagan empuja la amnistía a los inmigrantes, eso crea una generación de latinos que son republicanos porque se sienten agradecidos con el presidente republicano Ronald Reagan. Entonces, nos vamos un poquito adelante. El líder del Senado, Mitch McConnell, que es de Kentucky, cuando estaba el presidente Obama, él dijo que su objetivo principal era limitar de que el presidente Obama fuera electo a un segundo término. Después de eso, a cualquier lugar que volteaba Obama, Mitch McConnell está diciendo que no, que no, que no. Entonces, una de las razones por las cuales no ocurrió una reforma migratoria en los años anteriores es porque no querían volver a crear una generación de votantes que se sienten agradecidos a un partido y van a votar de esa manera. Entonces, ese es lo que puede ocurrir otra vez si Georgia no sale de la manera que necesitamos que salga, porque Mitch McConnell ya dijo que le va a hacer la vida imposible a Joe Biden. Entonces, necesitamos mandar otra vez los recursos a Georgia para tener el apoyo y de nuevo decirle a Biden que así como lo hemos apoyado, así como hemos mandado recursos, apoyo, energía, todo, así lo vamos a asegurar de que sea responsable de representar a la gente.
Muy excelente punto, completamente de acuerdo. Las personas están diciendo aquí, cierto, muy feliz estamos porque ya sufrimos mucho en Mississippi. Es cierto, Oscar, todos que usted ha sufrido el ataque más grande en la historia del ICE, de una comunidad muy linda que yo he tenido mucho. Yo estaba mucho tiempo ahí, nuestro equipo mucho tiempo ahí, gente muy buena y ojalá, entre Biden, también él dijo que va a intentar reunir todas las familias que todavía no están juntos con sus niños, va a poner un comité para hacer eso. Ojalá enfoque en Mississippi en el daño que hicieron ahí también. También dice Maria, text together to 79606 to get connected to an organization near you. Ese es el más importante, ¿verdad? Es importante los cortes, el Congreso, el Senado, pero para nuestra comunidad estar involucrado. De juntar con grupos que ya están en las calles, que ya tienen años de trabajando duro, conectar con ellos y a ver en qué manera pueden ayudar ustedes. Para mí es un orgullo tener tantos grupos aquí y Josh y Marcelino quieren opiniones de ustedes. Algún campo está diciendo no es el senador McCain que falleció y faltó respeto al presidente Trump. Esa es la razón por qué Arizona está más a favor de Biden. Otras personas están diciendo no, son los grupos que han batallado por los últimos 10, 20 años por la opresión que hemos recibido. ¿Qué opinión tienen ustedes sobre eso?
Well, I'll go first. Yeah, I think that the reason why Biden is so close to winning Arizona, I think he already won it, is because of the community organizations who sprung up as a result of SB 1070. I think that there's a direct connection there. The first item of business was to recall Russell Pierce, and that happened in a very conservative district. Russell Pierce was recalled. And then the next item of business was to get rid of Joe Arpaio, and the community got rid of Joe Arpaio. And then once President Trump slapped the community in the face by pardoning Joe Arpaio, I think that just added fuel to the fire. And all these community organizations activated with even more passion. They tripled down on their passion. And I think a big shout out to all of them. I mean, I have a tremendous respect for the work that they do. It's a passion of love. It's a labor of love. And so, yeah, I think it's offensive to try to say that the reason why is not because of the community organizations that have activated and brought the vote out.
Josh and Ray, I'll agree with that, and I'll remind us of Frida Kahlo's quote of the Mexican saying, "They tried to bury us; they didn't know we were seeds." And so on April 23rd of 2010, when then Republican Governor Jan Brewer, on a Friday, signed SB 1070 into law, a number of us took to the Capitol, took to the streets. A number of us knocked in Mesa to recall then Senate President Russell. So a lot of us have been involved in those efforts throughout the years. I remember my little sister Raquel was 11 at the time, and she was knocking on doors trying to recall the Pierce. The other thing I'll add is I also think this is an opportunity for all of us to unite. If anything's been clear over the last 4 years is that we've been trying to, how else can we be, and what other groups can we be into? And so I completely agree with everything that you're saying with regards to the impact that lucha, that puente, that poder en action, that aliento, and excuse me if I'm not including you in this list. I completely agree with that. But I also think that this was a holistic effort. I think that Republicans for Biden coming out was important. And I think it's an opportunity for us to lend a hand and really recognize what it means to be American. And what it means to be American means that it's a large tent. Josh, that's the word that you used earlier. And I think it's important to remember that what it means to be American is that it's a large tent. And while we celebrate our own efforts, I think it's also healthy to recognize and acknowledge how it was a team effort.
You know, just to that point real quick, Marcelino, I think exit polls showed early on that 10% of Republicans voted Democrat. And if in fact Biden wins Arizona by several hundred votes, then that 10% would have really, really hurt Trump. A big difference in this election, though, is the number of the turnout for the Republican nominee also. I mean, the turnout was tremendous. And so I think that even though there was a 10% Republican vote for Biden, that doesn't make up for the grassroots efforts that were taken on by the community orgs.
Absolutely. We have another great comment here from Griselda. Navajo Nation also showed up to vote for Biden.
Yes,
4 round of applause. Oh my gosh. Navajo Nation, you look at a map, somebody put up a map of the reservations, and where it's blue, coinciding, my beautiful Douglas, Arizona was also blue, in addition to Maricopa and Pima County, so that was great to see. But yeah, Indigenous brothers and sisters came out big time. Great voter turnout, and a huge percentage for Biden over Trump, so that was really amazing to see as well. So as you said, Marcelino, to your point, and Josh, to your point, it was a whole team effort. It was everybody coming together from all their angles to make sure this could happen. También están diciendo, estamos felices y esperando que ahora todo cambie para bien, ¿verdad? Y yo sí quiero hablar de eso. Hoy estoy muy feliz. Hoy voy a celebrar, voy a buscar la champaña, pop some corks, pero no voy a decirle, oh ya, el mundo ya es perfecto. Nadie está pensando en eso. Sabemos que tuvimos que pelear mucho bajo Obama y Biden. Vamos a tener que ser el mismo bajo Biden-Harris. Pero hoy mismo tomamos el tiempo de celebrar, ¿verdad? Y Marcelino, Josh, any further comments you guys want to make?
Ray, yo pienso que eso es muy importante de una manera para estar sanos. Exactamente, tenemos que celebrar porque tenemos 4 años muy calladitos, con mucho temor. Entonces sí, ahora es día de celebrar, y sentir esta alegría, y a la vez agarrar esta alegría y empezar a planear cómo la vamos a utilizar para que esta realmente se conviertan en hechos. Pero ahora sí, a celebrar, sí se pudo, lo hicimos todos, y ganó vicepresidente Biden y senadora Harris. Entonces a celebrar y a la misma vez a hacernos la pregunta, ¿qué más se puede hacer? Porque con esta energía vamos a llegar lejos.
Así es, de acuerdo con Marcelino. El trabajo sigue, es más, el trabajo apenas va comenzando. La realidad es de que el daño que el presidente Trump hizo es institucional, entonces las instituciones todavía van a seguir, las leyes todavía están allí en su lugar, entonces el trabajo sigue. Simplemente tenemos ahora, esperemos, un aliado en la Casa Blanca. Entonces, pero hay que celebrar. Saben que cuando pasa algo mal en nuestras comunidades, hay un ataque a nuestra comunidad, alguien se enferma, cuando pasa algo trágico en la comunidad, lo que hacemos es nos reunimos las manos y nos ayudamos, y por eso nuestra comunidad es hermosa. Y ahora lo que ha sucedido el día de hoy es que algo bonito ha sucedido. Y si algo bonito ha sucedido, entonces hay que agarrarnos las manos, hay que celebrar, hay que echarnos un traguito de celebración, porque lo merecemos, y enfocarnos en esas cosas bonitas también vale la pena.
That's a beautiful statement from you both. And we have, to the point of celebration questions, Ana asks, when is marijuana legal? ¿Cuándo es la marihuana legal? Si no están viendo de Arizona, Arizona pasó y por demasiado de nuestra comunidad votó en favor de legalizar marihuana. Ustedes saben cuándo, y otro, tenemos que hablar sobre migración todavía, pero cuándo es legal la marihuana aquí recreational en Arizona. ¿Ustedes saben, Josh o Marcelino?
Bueno, la resolución pasó, obviamente, y ahora lo que sigue es implementar las reglas de cómo va el Estado a implementar esto. Entonces, a principios del 2021 va a ser ya legal, pero las reglas todavía se tienen que derivar. Cómo van a ser los taxes, dónde se va a poder vender, todo eso, los detallitos que son muy importantes. Entonces, no el día de hoy, así es que espérense.
Sí. Josh y Ray, eso también me recuerda de algo muy importante para toda nuestra comunidad y algo que también sé que ustedes han estado apoyando bastante, que es la propuesta 208, que apoya a la educación aquí en Arizona a través de un impuesto para personas que hacen bastante dinero para apoyar a la educación aquí. También pasó con un apoyo muy fuerte de toda la comunidad. Y esto también es después de ataques, porque esta propuesta se propuso hace 2 años, fue derrotada en la corte antes de poder llegar a la boleta. Entonces, el hecho de que la propuesta 208 también pase, realmente muestra que Arizona, quizás si no se convierte en un estado completamente azul,
Your audio cut out for a second there, Marcelino. Let me see if we can get Marcelino's audio back on because he was on a roll. Ahí están. Griselda says, gracias a todos por su liderazgo en la comunidad, de seguro. And Ana says, just to make sure people don't get in trouble till it's actually legal, 100%. And just to piggyback off of that, tengo que decirlo como abogado, la ley federal todavía dice que marihuana no es legal. So, si pasa y puede ir a comprar en marzo, abril, marihuana aquí recreacional, pero si usted va a su entrevista de migración y dice, sí, yo fumaba ayer, lo van a negar. So, es muy, muy importante que todavía sabemos y corremos el voz. Aunque yo pienso es completamente bien si vendimos alcohol a personas, porque no marihuana, y las personas deben tener el privilegio de hacer lo que ellos quieren, pero como abogado y especialmente en migración tenemos que estar con mucho cuidado cuando hablamos de eso en nuestra comunidad, porque sí puede tener consecuencias grandes si estás en Ciudad Juárez o si estás aquí en una entrevista en Phoenix. Marcelino, go ahead and give it a shot again, man. Let me see if your audio's back. That's our signal. I think Facebook's saying, like, you guys talk too much already.
That's
like,
probably it.
Peace out, guys. So
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and shut it down now. And I'd love to give the last words to Marcelino and Josh. Marcelino, we can't hear him. If you can read lips, you can say a few words. There you go. We know what that means, brother. So Josh, take us home, man. Take us home, brother.
Well, Listen, Ray, thank you so much for using your platform also. I tip my hat to you. Also, these last 4 years, you and your firm and your team, you guys have been activated. You guys have been out there defending our people. And so I tip my hat to you. Also putting your money where your mouth is and your time and your energy. So felicidades a todo el equipo de Ibarra Maldonado y Alaga. Y a toda la comunidad, felicidades por aguantar estos 4 años de desastre. Y ahora tenemos otros 4 años de trabajo y de esperanza. Les deseo lo mejor y hay que celebrar. Adiós a todos.